Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, we proudly present our spectacular show of podcast magic and imagination full of Disney wonder, news, and pop culture. It's the Main Street Electrical Podcast with Jenn Dave and David Dollar.
Hey, Jen.
Hey, Dave.
For the 100th time, it's the Main Street Electrical Podcast. Welcome to the Main Street Electrical Podcast. I'm Dave, and that is Jen, and we are back here for the 100th episode of the show, and I'm real excited about tonight because back in February, we did a top 10 favorite love songs of Disney. We had some great times going on. Another very similar podcast, which is just as good as ours, if not better. Maybe sometimes. They also did their own version of love songs as well, and I thought, well, what if we got them together with us for 100 and did a Disney Jams episode? So we're going to talk about that in a few minutes. Let's introduce what we got on tonight. Susie, first of all, from the ImagineEars podcast, you might have heard her in episode 6, episode 7, 40, 41, 70, and 71 and 72. She's always in series when she comes on with Matt, but tonight she is solo for the ImagineEars podcast. Hi, Susie.
Matt's not here. I am going to listen. There's like no rules anymore.
Well, Matt's not here to control it.
I have to be like,
you did 7 songs from Camp Rock? What the heck?
Listen, so we do a movie night every Friday when Matt and I are free, or at least when one of us is free, and we watch in our Discord channel and chat and everything. And the first week that Matt wasn't there, I was like, okay, girls, because like none of the boys wanted to watch. We did Camp Rock, and like all the girls were like, oh my gosh. I was like, oh, Jonas Brothers.
Let's go, girls.
Oh
my gosh, I just was about to say that.
Like, might be my whole list. We'll see.
Always on with us, and also on with us, and we were very excited to have this guy back. First time since episode 36, back in January of 2021. I keep wanting to have you back, and Jen's like, no, I have other ideas. It's okay, though. We got you tonight.
Obviously.
Just kidding. You're just kidding. Rob Lott, performer extraordinaire, Hoop-de-Doo review, Dapper Dan, all over the place doing entertainment, music guy, Blue Trumpet creative. Rob, how you doing, buddy?
Oh my goodness, thank you so much. Yeah, I'm doing great. Happy to be here. This is going to be fun. You texted me earlier today and you said, "Hey, you available to do this?" I was like,
3 hours ago.
Yeah, let's go. Let's do it.
I was driving home from my kids' piano practice, and at a red light, I was like, "Ooh, Rob Lott. Hey, Rob, what do you want to do?" And I was like, "He'll do it. Yes, that's awesome.
I'll do it."
I get like a
I'm
message
so
from
excited.
David.
I'm so excited to be a part of the 100th. Congratulations.
Yes.
Yeah,
that is
what a
no small
milestone.
thing. It's a huge milestone.
I'm
I
pretty
think
excited.
I heard somewhere of like most podcasters, they get like the number of podcasters who get to episode 5 is like, it's so teeny tiny. That percentage is so minuscule. And getting to episode 10 is even smaller than that. And getting to episode 12 and 15 is even smaller than that. And so the fact that you made it to 100, congratulations. Great job.
I know, and Jen putting up with David for 100 episodes.
Right?
Like,
This is the real achievement that nobody.
We like
to
to hear ourselves talk.
By we, he means he.
Well,
We like to hear ourselves
this
talk.
we
so
like
there
to
you
hear you guys talk too. You guys are so much fun. We're literally like the happiest podcast.
go. Well, of course, ImagineEars headed towards 200. You guys are like 170 something,
amazing.
right? I mean, somewhere in there, 170,
Yeah,
75, is that right?
Yeah, in the late 70s. We're getting there.
And then Jen's got Divas Dish Diz, which you guys are stuck on around 192 because your recording
have been
schedule
for,
is
like,
so
months.
weird.
It's
so
so
off
bad.
You'll get there.
Now that Christine got her new job too, it's like even worse. So we're like, well, we'll get to it. And we like text each other.
That's
"Hey,
the
we can
hardest
record
part
this
of all
now."
this,
And then-
though. Scheduling is wild.
Scheduling
with
is the
people.
worst.
Like,
Of course.
life just happens. Yeah.
Yeah. But she's doing good.
And then I
Like,
have a movie
this is
podcast
good.
that nobody listens to. So
Okay, that is
stop.
also not true.
Not true. Oh my god.
I need to message
things.
Michael. I saw a movie this weekend that I need to talk to Michael about. I feel like he
Oh,
has thoughts on it.
Mikey.
okay. Yeah, Rob, to fill you in, I do a movie podcast I've been doing since 2011 called The Deucecast the Movie Show. We just dropped episode 527 yesterday, actually. And so, yeah, we're at like 500 and something. It's ridiculous. We just
Wowee.
keep going and
It's
going and going and
fantastic.
don't stop.
And is it
just so much
do you
just
just
a
talk
hobby,
about
like,
individual movies?
Yeah,
What-
they talk about
Me
like
and a
all
couple
sorts of
guys
different themes.
talk about movies.
Okay.
I mean, just we have different themes, different whatever. We are
Yeah.
releasing
Say the
next
name
week
again
our-
for anybody who's
The
listening. Say the name
Deucecast
again.
Movie Show. The Deucecast Movie Show.
Deucecast. I have been a guest a couple of times.
Yep, Jen's been on.
And
Have you done Ferris Bueller's Day Off?
We don't do specific movies as a whole, although we have mentioned Ferris Bueller several times. And
Okay.
hot take, I don't like Ferris Bueller's Day Off. I've never.
Can
liked
we
the
be
movie.
friends? I don't think I can be
I
friends
don't.
with you
I
anymore.
think Ferris
I'm like,
Bueller is a jerk, complete jerk. And what he does to Cameron
so much
in that
of
movie
my
is
form. Well,
horrific.
yeah. Well, that's true.
What
That's not
what he like at the very
But
end.
it's
But also,
horrible.
Cameron
It's
is
horrible.
going home.
Cameron is also kind of a he's
He's
kind of a jerk.
He's a drip.
Well, that's true. That is true.
Yeah, like
but
dude,
he's
just come on, man, get on
proposed
board.
to Sloane. He's proposed to Sloane in the art museum, and here he
Okay.
is hitting on chicks as he's running through a backyard to get home. I'm like, come
Listen,
on, dude. What are you
Claire,
doing?
when
Yeah,
you're
it's-
the
no,
most
he's just being
intelligent
friendly.
character.
He's
couldn't
just a
officially
friendly guy.
propose.
Listen,
It's just being friendly.
they're in his neighborhood. You want to know
Very
everybody
true.
in
That
the
is true.
neighborhood,
Well, good
right?
point. I'm rethinking everything. I'm rethinking
You should
everything.
rethink everything because Ferris
Rob,
Bueller is a classic.
Rob, how did you Disney this week? I'm throwing you on
Oh,
the
my
spot. How did
goodness.
you Disney this week?
Well, this should be no surprise to anybody who knows me, but we got the call this week that the Hoop-Dee-Doo review is coming back. Making its grand reopening, and of course, I was just saying a little bit that that's going to happen on June 23rd, and we were talking a little bit before we started recording, and we found out about a day before everybody else found out, because very kindly the company was like, listen, this is about to happen, and we don't want you to be blindsided, but at the same time, it is not your job to talk about this. So if it leaks and it gets out into the world, please, your job is neither to confirm nor deny. But then the next day they told everything, gave all the details, and so I was thrilled to confirm. So yeah, the cast and I, we have not missed a week since the show closed. We got together that week on Zoom. Got together that week as a full cast and just kind of checked in with everybody. How's everybody doing? And we have not missed a week since. We get together at 9 o'clock.
Love it.
On
Zoom, and sometimes we bake things together. Sometimes
Oh my god.
yeah, like we will, and sometimes we'll find recipes for some of the cocktails from around the Walt Disney World, and we'll learn how to make those, and we'll enjoy those.
A few of those.
Yeah.
Yes.
But we are ready to hit the ground running. We're not going to have to spend any time at all like checking in with each other in terms of the rehearsal process and all of that. Like we're ready to go. We're ready right now.
Wow.
So yeah, as soon as we start those rehearsals, we're super excited about that, and get the show back up and running and start putting it out there for the world.
Reopens June 23rd.
world.
Reservations May 26th.
May 26th,
Call your
yep.
local travel agents. That's right. That's right. Susie, how'd you Disney this week?
Absolutely.
Can't top that. That's the greatest
I know,
news
right?
we've had in a long time. I normally, like, if I can't think of anything major, I'm like, I booked a trip, or like I did dining, but all of my dining windows opened in a few days. So, and I missed my own dining. So that's cool. It's fine. I plan on snacking around the world at Epcot when I go this summer anyway. No, but so I'm one of the people who downloaded TikTok when COVID broke out as like a joke, like, oh, this isn't good. I freaking love that app. I can't stop. It's some of those videos are so funny, but here's how I Disneyed. I have a friend and we send videos back and forth to each other, and then TikTok kind of like sees that and it curates an algorithm. So I have infiltrated his TikTok page of Disney stuff now. So my way of Disneying this week was like all this stuff. He's like, why is this on my page? I was like,
I don't know.
I'm gonna get influenced.
That's awesome. Controlling the TikTok narrative.
Yeah, so your phone's definitely watching everything you do, but it paid off because it's Disney, so it's okay.
Jen, how'd you Disney this week?
I Disneyed by booking my flights because I found out that I'm going to be headed toward a preview for Guardians of the Galaxy
you are.
May 5th.
Ooh.
I'm like so honored and excited. I'm so honored and excited, like literally. But I am I booked my flights. So that was how I Disneyed, a very exciting way. And so I'm like, yes.
Go you. I've also booked my flights for Anaheim, California. I'm going to Disneyland at the end of the month, which is awesome for a couple of days. My wife Stephanie and I actually are going to go out there on some agency stuff that Jen is sending me on, which is exciting with Disney, and I get to do some social media stuff and some touring and whatever. I'm going to stay at Grand California, so I'm really excited about that. And Disneyland is awesome. I love Disney World's my home. Disney World is my home, and I'll never forget it. But I love walking the streets of Disneyland because I am so nostalgic. I'm like, Walt stood right here. He was right here I've been in that apartment right there. I've been there. And just like, I'm not like a blubbering mess or anything, but there is a sense of like, almost like chills of just like.
I cried the first time.
Where it started. This is where it started. It's just
100%. I like you say, Walt Disney World is my home for sure. Yeah. But at the same time, I was for the longest I hadn't visited Disneyland. My family, I grew up visiting Walt Disney World, and so my wife and I were going to be in California for a couple of days, and we're like, well, we should stop in at Disneyland just to see what it's all about. And so we did, and I'll tell you, for anybody who's not gone and they think, what's the difference? There are a lot of similarities in terms of the layout and the structure and all of that. But when people would tell me that the feeling is completely different from Magic Kingdom at Walt Disney World to the Magic Kingdom at Disneyland, I just didn't understand it until I experienced it. Yeah. And the energy is just completely 100% different. And you're absolutely right. There's something about, I think it's the difference of, and if I can say this respectfully to the Imagineers that built Walt Disney World, the difference of what Walt wanted to do and did versus a team of people saying, what would Walt have wanted to do? And you know, the Walt Disney World and the Magic Kingdom, it was created by committee of people going, what do you think he would have done? And just trying to figure it out. Whereas Walt himself was just like, hey, here's what I want. This sounds fun. Let's do this. Yeah. And that it just has a completely different feel to it.
It is so special. I think Disneyland is so special. So even if Walt Disney World is your home, I feel like you have to go to Disneyland. You have to experience that original because there's nothing
home every
like
now
it.
and then. You can't just stay home the whole time.
Yeah, it's like a vacation.
But you'll always come back home. It's okay. It's all right. So tonight, let's get to our main topic, our main discussion. Tonight, we're going to be talking about Disney jams. We've all come up with our own top 10 list of Disney songs. This is not the love songs. This is not. There is a time and a place where this is love and Dream is what your heart makes. There's a time and place for those. Absolutely. But those are the slow songs, or whatever. I'm talking about. These are the songs for me. These are the songs that I know every word to. That I kind of like. I can snap to. Can bounce my head to. Can sing along at any point, anytime. And we open it up to anything you want Disney related. TV shows, movies, theme songs, parks, whatever you determine. That's what you want to do. We all have our own top 10, and we're gonna let Susie kick off with number 10 on your list of your favorite Disney jams.
The possibilities are so endless.
Yeah, I had a hard time making my list.
This was a difficult one.
This is really hard. But number 10 on mine, on my list is from a movie that just celebrated its 27th anniversary.
Pulp Fiction?
And
oh no, never mind. That's 28. That's 28. Sorry.
And it's a movie that David had me on something a couple years ago to talk about. Which show was that?
Was that the Deuce?
That was pre. No, yes. It was pre.
It was the Magic on a Dollar podcast. It was the one.
Oh,
that's right.
The Mod Pod.
Pre Main Street Electrical Pod, way back in the day. But it's the hit track Eye to Eye from the Goofy movie. That song slaps. I don't know how else to describe it without sound. I mean, I do sound like I'm 14. I'm significantly older than that, but I absolutely love that movie and this song and the dance, and it is just the most like 90s thing of all time. I absolutely love it. It does not it's getting the love it deserves now because people are nostalgic.
Yeah.
But for a long time, like a Goofy movie was like so overlooked. And so Eye to Eye.
That's amazing.
Had that song not been on your list, I would have been disappointed in you. I would have been like, Susie, what happened to you? Where'd you go wrong? I would have been disappointed. I was expecting.
I bought a Powerline t-shirt the last time I was at Disney World.
That's great.
It's so awesome. Cool. And this is actual merchandise. It looks like it's been like airbrushed. Like it's
I think
crazy.
I love it.
I'm excited.
I love it. Jen, what is your number 10 Disney jams on your list?
Mine is so weird, guys. Like, it's so weird. I'm just gonna.
No, don't be ashamed. Nobody should be ashamed.
I'm not ashamed of it.
It's
just
your
weird.
Preferences.
No, okay. And this is also a little bit of a shout out to Christine. There was like an early episode of Divas where I threw this one out and she had no idea what I was talking about. So this might but I always have loved it. It's the Swiss polka from the Swiss Family Treehouse.
Yes.
That is weird. That is weird.
I love you for that. Oh my gosh.
So good. Because, well, and I'll tell you, for me, like, this is all, when you talk about Disney jams, and the definition for me of a Disney jam is like, this is feel-good music.
Yes. And like
It
I
just
feel
puts me in a
good.
good mood. I'm gonna bop my head, like you said. I'm gonna bop my head to it. A smile will take over my face without involuntarily.
Yeah.
It's just yeah,
I swear
absolutely.
if
the
they
Swiss
ever do
polka.
anything to the
100
treehouse, I will riot.
Thank you. Like, do not
Classic.
mess with my Swiss Family Treehouse.
It's so good.
And like I just sit there
Tripping
and, like,
on the steps.
I love it.
It's great.
I love it.
freaking love it. So that I don't know. That's my number
They used to-
10.
They used to play that on Hold too. That was kind of like
They did.
back in
And
Hold
every
music
time
and
I
stuff.
find, like,
I got a feel of that too. So
I want to see. I should pitch that to the Dapper Dans to play on the chimes.
oh my gosh, could you please?
Oh,
Oh my gosh.
I need to look at it and see if it's.
that would
you
be
know,
awesome. That
Rob,
would be
if you
amazing.
don't listen, I will give you the dates I'm in the park. I will make sure that I'm on Main Street, and you just have like.
Wow.
Jill just sit there waiting for the dance to come out.
Worlds colliding. She literally just sits on a bench for 12 hours. Yeah.
Right?
I mean, that wouldn't make me sad ever.
And they're like, oh, there she is again. And
There she
And
is.
different
like,
direction.
she's weird.
All right, Rob, what's your number 10 on your list?
My number 10, and it is the only song that is predominantly known from the films, although it was featured in a live show at Disney's Animal Kingdom, and it is Trashin' the Camp from Tarzan.
Yes.
Oh my gosh.
Right?
One.
Zavada, zoovada, zavada, zavadi-dun-dee, da, wah, bum, bum, ba-da, bum, bow. Yeah, I sang my part there a little bit. Yes, yeah, but in Tarzan Rocks,
That was a
they
great show.
they did that as kind of the culmination. They divided the audience into three sections, you remember, and everybody learned a different percussive rhythm.
Yep.
And yeah, stomp, stomp, clap. Yeah, stomp, stomp, snap, snap.
Bop, she do.
Yeah, it was so good. Anyway, that's
I love it.
That's a great
I love
one.
it.
That's a great
I love it.
Yeah.
David. What's yours?
So, a little story with my number 10. My number 10, I used to work at the Disney store. And this was an old store. At the time that our store closed in 2010, it was the oldest store in the company. And they had Disney had to fight with them all. They were not going to refurbish our store. We still had all the stuff at the very top. The windows had the animatronics that wouldn't move anymore. The sound system broke. Like, you couldn't even see anything on the screen because it was so old. So I went and I borrowed all the Disney CDs I could find, and I made 11 discs of Disney music. All kinds of like theme music and movie music and the park music, whatever I could find, put it on there. And in that, I discovered a whole handful of music that I normally never would have heard. I am 46 years old, and I freaking love We Rock from Camp Rock. That is their main anthem at the end of the movie. You got teenage Demi Lovato. You got the Jonas Brothers back when they were like, 15, 16 years old. They sing the anthem to the whole thing. The lyrics are fantastic. It's inspiring. It's encouraging.
Shaking my head.
Raise your hands up in the air and scream. We're finding our voice. We're following our dreams because we rock. I love that song. I do. It's
David, I saw the Jonas
great
Brothers
song.
for the first time in concert this past February, this past fall, after being a fan since like 6th grade, and they sang Play My Music, and it was not on the set list originally. I was like crying. I just want to play my music.
It's that one's okay. I mean, but I remember because this song would, and we were there too when Camp Rock was a big deal on Disney Channel, and so they were playing this song every 30 minutes. So I heard Camp Rock every 30 minutes, and either you loved it or you didn't, and I just loved it. I was like, I'd bop around the store going, "We rock, Camp Rock." It was awesome. That's my number 10. That is my number 10. I'm not ashamed of it. Susie, number 9 for you.
That should have been my number 1. Okay, no. Number 9, going over to the parks. It is Great Big Beautiful Tomorrow from Carousel of Progress, which is another attraction that if they ever touch, I don't care how out of date it gets, I will riot.
I will take myself with you.
I think there's something ironic about like leaving and it being like, oh, now you're in like modern world. Like I just love it. But also the song and how it like changes over the different things. And like, I remember when we went and my mom was like, this isn't the song. Cause there was, Now Is the Time, like for a little bit. That's what mine.
Yep.
That's what my mom grew up with.
Yeah, and I thought that was the one. And so when they went back to Great Big Beautiful Tomorrow, I was like, how dare they? And then I realized.
But it has such a rich history.
Strike that.
Sherman Brothers. Yeah. Walt. Love it.
Love it.
I could listen to that rusty animatronics sing all day. Bless his heart. That's my 9.
All right, Jen, number 9 on your list.
This is anticlimactic because literally that's number 9 on my list is Great Big Beautiful. Because it makes me happy every single time. And like, I love how it goes from like the 20s and like all the different, like it goes like the doo-wop from the 50s. Yep. And then it's just all of the eras and it makes me happy. Every time I'm the one sitting there in the audience, like singing along. Oh, I'm going to sing this harmony part this time. And the people around me probably hate me, and it's fine.
That's why I was glad we had masks for a little bit, so people couldn't hear me singing along. Right?
Susie, we will go together and we will sing it with each other. Is what we'll have to do in May.
That's awesome,
for sure.
Love it, Rob. Number 9 on your list.
Number 9. Long before the old Model T, round about the turn of the century. Anyone? Pre-show for Magic Journeys.
Magic Journeys. I'm like, wait, was that World of Motion?
Not Magic Journeys. Not Magic Journeys. It's Making Memories. Pre-show. And it started with the Barbershop Quartet.
What?
And then it went into this whole song about taking pictures and how much fun it is to take pictures. It was Kodak was the original was the sponsor for the attraction, and they had this whole song about making memories by taking pictures, and it was so fun. And to this day, it's certainly makes my top 10.
Look that up. That sounds
it's so good.
I remember, like, I did go on that attraction, but like way back when I was a kid. Like, I remember just like a little bit.
New Orleans jazz kind of feel to it, and like it's kind of a 1920s early jazz feel. Oh, it's so good. So good.
Okay, I love that.
Yeah, you're gonna love it. And as I recall, it's a Sherman Brothers tune.
Who doesn't love the Sherman Brothers? If you don't love the Sherman Brothers, you hate life. Like, you hate everything. That's just basically where this is at.
Yeah, exactly.
Like,
so my list is going to be concentrated a lot on the movies because I didn't grow up in the parks, and so my park experience really started like 07, 08 when I really started going on a regular basis. When I guess fell in love with Disney again more than anything else, and so a lot of my Disney history is from the movies. Like this guy right here, Oliver and Company.
That's a great
my
one.
number 9 is Why Should I Worry from Oliver and Company, because I love Billy Joel.
I
love Billy Joel altogether. I think he's one of my top 5 favorite artists of all time. Having him voice a dog in a Disney movie gets to me more funnier and more amusing as the years go on, the more I think about it. This was on the cusp of the Disney Renaissance, right there. Oliver and Company's right there, slipping right around the Little Mermaid era, like just right there. They came so close to being part of the Renaissance instead of being part of the 80s Bronze Age, So right there on the cusp. Rescuers Down Under were like, we're in the Renaissance, huh? Oliver and Company.
Listen, don't you insult the Rescuers.
I've never seen The Rescuers. I got to see that one of these days. I've never watched it.
Sorry,
I'll get there.
I'll get there. The animation of Rescuers Down Under is excellent.
It's fantastic.
I like the clips.
Mm-hmm.
I'm gonna watch them back to back. I need to watch them.
You need to.
This song is just fun, and Billy Joel is great, and he's voices, like he says, the voices Dodger through the thing, and just they're all bebopping through the streets as they're all strays and stuff with Oliver the Cat. It's the whole Oliver Twist story, and it's a fun song. I love this song. It's one of my favorite Disney songs. It's in my top 10.
Are you going to make a Spotify playlist of all of these? And
you know what? I will now.
For everybody
you will.
I will now. You know what, Jen? We need to make a Spotify playlist or a Spotify account for the Main Street Electrical Podcast.
We do.
And do our favorite music
Do it,
songs.
David.
We're on it. Rob, yes.
That sounds like a great idea for you to do.
That's a good idea. No, I'm down. I love this. I'll contribute ideas.
All right, number 8, Susie.
Gosh, you're just such good ones. Why should I worry? Stuck in my head. All right. Saying in Magic Kingdom. I'm still sad about. I'm really sad that Happily Ever After is gone.
Why did you have to say that? I'm triggered now. Thanks.
It is. Shipment is not great. But I still miss Wishes. And Wishes to me was the one that we've been going to the park since I was in first, second grade on a very regular basis, but everything about Wishes, I just remember very clearly growing up with my parents. And then when we got old enough and they, would go back to Fort Wilderness for the night, my brother and I would stay over till park closed and just being silly, running through the park, screaming Wishes. It's just, it feels like that was the best era of my Disney experiences. And not that it gets worse, but those are just the era that I love the most. So I always
just to tag on, I think it's Wishes was the first fireworks show at the Magic Kingdom to kind of be driven by story and to go, hey, what if we instead of like thrills of loud and bright and big, what if we aimed for thrills of quiet and contemplative, even though it's a fireworks show? And it did it put everybody in that space at the end of the day of going, just remembering and the nostalgia and how great everyone felt from the day. I 100% agree. I think that was the first one. I think the page absolutely turned. Because what was it? Fantasy in the Sky prior to that?
Yeah. I think I remember being I was like, or like
maybe Fantasy in the Sky was great. Yeah. Fantasy in the Sky was great, but Wishes came along and changed changed the game. 100%.
Yeah. I cried every time. I still do.
Can I tell you, my wife's blessed life. She saw the last Wishes and the first Happily Ever After back to back. They she and her mom took a trip down there specifically for that. Yeah, and she saw one last one and one first one and cried both nights.
Wow,
so
100%
fantastic. I love Happily Ever After, but I Wishes beats it out for me.
I don't know. I have this great video of the custodial staff, and it was great because like they had the post Wishes theme, like, and they would sing, and they had their brooms, and they were like singing like microphones, and it was the best ever. I'm like, I don't know you people, and I love you, like, and people were just like applauding them. They were.
I mean, people forget. Not only like you're gonna leave at the end of the day, at the end of your trip, you're gonna leave and all this stuff, but don't forget these long-running shows that the cast members spend so much time with. There's a grief process when a show closes, and when the thing that you kind of heard every night as you leave, and that's
every memory connected to that.
Absolutely,
thing.
Yeah. So it makes sense that even the cast members would be like, we need to mark this time. Yeah,
absolutely. Oh, so good. Oh, it's so good.
Jen, number 8 for you.
Oh gosh. Okay. Number 8 for me is I Want to Be Like You from The Jungle Book.
Yeah.
Do I want to be like you. Ooh. I love it. Oh, it's yes. Oh my gosh. I don't know why. It just always makes me happy. That movie made me laugh. I loved Baloo. I love Baloo and King Louie. And I know I sing along with it every stinking time. And the scatting is fabulous.
Yes.
So yeah.
Love it. Hey, Rob, number 8 for you.
Number 8. Okay, so I have 2 different versions of the same song. And again, I'm not ashamed of it, but it probably isn't going to show up on anybody else's list.
Okay.
It is I know it from a show called Every Day's a Holiday, which was a castle show at the Magic Kingdom, where they went through the entire year, and they started with Valentine's Day and went into then July 4th and had the big celebration for that, and then went into Halloween and then wrapped everything up with a holiday extravaganza at the end of the year. So though it was 20 minutes of the Every Day's a Holiday when you're at Walt Disney World, but my favorite was the July 4th section, the Independence Day section. They had this great arrangement of This Land Is Your Land, and the choreographer was amazing. And the choreography was amazing because of the choreographer. The choreography was amazing for it. I just loved that, but also a very special place in my heart. Voices of Liberty at the American Adventure Rotunda. They open, oftentimes they will open their show with This Land Is Your Land.
Oh, is that version?
Not with that version. It's their own version. It's always their own version.
Okay, their version is just. I cry every time.
Yeah, when they do that, what they call the spell down.
Yes.
This land was made for you and me. Yeah, so good.
I love that one. Oh, it's so good.
Anyway, so This Land Is Your Land for me.
Love it. Love it. Now, whenever I picked my list, like I said, I picked songs that were snappy and that I could sing to and everything. And there's one song that came to mind that it's just like, it's a long song, kind of long, but it's nonstop, just earworms over and over and over and over. And that is Mary Poppins' Supercalifragilisticexpialidocious. That whole song is just one after there's Bert thinking about the chimneys, and there's Mary Poppins, and there's the guy singing about his wife and lovely wife she is. And just, that whole thing is just like, there's no part of that song.
I'm not mad about this.
That song is perfect. That song is like nearly perfect and flawless.
It's correct.
Practically perfect?
Practically perfect in every way.
You might say.
Lyric.
My favorite part of that song is when the guy gets hit on the head with the tambourine, and everything's awkward and it just is stopped. And then there's one guy who wants to get everybody back on board, and he just goes, "It's supercalifragilistic." Like awkwardness over. Let's
around,
pick it back up.
The other song that I thought was Step in Time, but that song is long. That's like a 9-minute song. That song goes on forever.
It's the master.
So it's a good song, but Supercalifragilistic, that's my favorite. That's my favorite of Mary Poppins of that. So, all right, Susie, number 7 on your list.
Number 7 on my list. I wanted to do a soundtrack option, so no words because I'm so different. It's so hard. But I went with He's a Pirate from Pirates of the Caribbean because that entire soundtrack is amazing. All of them, but that one specifically, just I don't know. We played a very like toned down version of that when I was in intermediate band in 6th grade.
Yeah, we were toned down.
Even then, it was so much fun. I had my clarinet, and I'm like, yeah, Jack Sparrow. But gosh, Hans Zimmer, man, everything he does is just fantastic.
He captures a mood for sure.
Oh,
yes. And
now I'm like hearing it in my head.
And everything he does is fantastic. So really all Pirates of the Caribbean, but He's a Pirate specifically.
I support this.
Love it.
So good.
I'm glad you're supporting my life.
Yeah.
Jen,
is it my turn? Is it my turn? Okay.
Your turn.
This is so funny. You would think that I literally made this up on the spot. I promise I didn't. This was written down. Step in Time is my number 7 because I freaking love it. Because Mary Poppins has to be represented. And my like total favorite song in that movie is Feed the Birds. I freaking love Feed the Birds. I've sung that like live on Facebook before just because I love it. And I don't care because I love it. But Step in Time, if I'm talking about a jam that I'm like bobbing my head to, it's going to be Step in Time. It's the master. It's the master. I don't know. It just makes me laugh. I love it. The whole thing.
Think that was on the, and I hate Susie's going to miss this because she had to step away for a second. I think that was on the Mouser-Size record. Because I think it was on the Mouser-Size record. That's where I first heard that song was on the Mouser-Size record. Like my parents got that for me. My first
because I had the whole Mouser-Size
record player.
100%.
7 years old, got me Michael Jackson's Thriller and Disney's Mouser-Size.
I mean that's quite a combination. But did you have Mickey Mouse Disco? Because I did.
I didn't then, but I do now because I found it at the thrift store for $1. I have it now.
So whatever, Macho Duck. Yeah, I have it.
I have no way to play it, but I have it. I can spin it in my fingers and look at it.
I have a Fisher-Price record player.
While we're sidetracked real quick, what is this new album that Disney came out with where it's like what's it called? Mouse Pack, where it's like Mickey. You guys haven't seen this yet? It's like Mickey, Minnie, Goofy, Donald, Daisy, and they're singing like Sinatra songs.
The Sinatra song, the Rat Pack songs.
Okay,
I know what you're talking about.
Wow.
Why don't I know about this?
It's I haven't heard it, but I know about
it. Spotify playlist near you.
We need to have this.
Yeah.
Oh my
Sorry,
gosh.
I just didn't know if y'all had seen that. I saw it and I thought it was a joke at first, but I haven't listened to it yet.
In the 90s, didn't they have in the 90s they had all of those compilation albums come out of I just remember oh man, I like it was all like pop tunes and Latin songs and like a whole bunch of stuff all coming out in the 90s.
I do remember the Macho number 5 with Mickey, the Disney Macho number 5.
Yeah, I remember that one.
Whatever. The 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 did that.
I remember some about it till just now, but I remember
there was a Ricky Martin. There was a Ricky Martin cover that they did.
There was. Oh my god!
It was like somebody had the idea to let's just take popular songs and make Disney
right.
Sing.
They have way too much fun over there.
They really did that though.
There it is.
Oh my gosh, there it is. The mouse. This is fabulous.
Yeah.
Mickey and friends singing classic soundtracks. So we're gonna have to pull that up. We may have to end the show with some of that.
that
number 7 on your list.
Hey, not to make anybody jealous, but if you hear any loud booms coming over my microphone, it's because we live right behind the Magic Kingdom.
Oh my gosh.
And of course it's 9:09 right now.
Yes it is. Yes it is. We worked that perfectly. Jen's like, if I wait long enough to start this show, then I can
right?
I can have the fireworks going on mine. Good job.
Who's next?
All right, Rob, number 7 for you.
Oh, okay.
You're
all right.
Yep.
The entirety. You mentioned earlier, David, about having a long choice.
Yep.
Well, this is pretty long. The entirety of the Mickey's Jammin' Jungle Parade at Disney's Animal Kingdom.
Awesome. That's
The entirety of it, the whole thing from start to finish, so good. Fair. And it is so that came out at a time, I think it was Magic Kingdom got they got a new parade. It was for the I think it was it was for Walt's 100th birthday.
Yes.
And so it was in 2001 and all of the parks got a brand new parade.
Wow.
Yeah. So Magic Kingdom got one, but which was super like it was the Share a Dream Come True parade was Magic Kingdom.
That was a great one.
Epcot got Tapestry of
Dreams.
Nations.
Dreams.
Tapestry of Nations before, and then it became Tapestry of Dreams. Okay. And Studios got Disney Stars and Motor Cars, and Animal Kingdom got Mickey's Jam and Jungle Parade. And I'll tell you, of all of those brand new parades, my absolute favorite was Mickey's Jam and Jungle. You could not help
saw
but
that on my
tap
honeymoon. I remember that parade.
So good.
I remember that.
Yeah.
Huh.
Number 7 on my list harkens back to college, because this is when I really just kind of discovered a love for Disney, at least Disney movies, because my college friends were all like into Disney films, and I'm like, well, if I'm gonna make friends, I guess I need to be too. And of course, Aladdin was the first VHS tape that we bought. We all went out to the store together, pooled our $20 each, $25 each, went out and bought Aladdin. I wanted to buy it because Jenny Cochin down the hall wanted to see the movie, and I'm like, well, if I have it, she'll want to watch it with me. And of course,
oh my gosh.
So we went out one time. But anyway, but my favorite song in that movie is "Friend Like Me." The Robin Williams performance in that song is just unbelievable. And as I've gotten older and the more movies I've seen, the more the things I've compared, like I'm not sure that I've ever heard a voiceover performance like his performance in Aladdin. And "Friend Like Me" is just one of those songs that to me it's epic. I thought about Prince Ali because the different characters and the Fabulous Fairy, I love the feathers and all that. That's just fun. But the "Friend Like Me" is just so pivotal to me with just, I don't know, I love that music. I love that song. And it's one that I could pick up at any point in time and just go to immediately. And in the years since he's passed away, I think this song has even become bigger in my own life to me. So I love "Friend Like Me." So that's number 7 on my list. Robin Williams performing "Friend Like Me" and Aladdin. The old one, not the one with the Will Smith, which is fine. But I mean, that song sort of slaps, but I like the old one better.
But I'm sorry, you're not gonna. Wow.
Number 6 for Susie. Number 6 for Susie. What?
Okay. I had "Friend Like Me," and I don't remember what I swapped it out for, and I feel bad for it.
My list is constantly changing, by the way. I've changed it like 5 times.
I keep changing the numbers.
I think a good top 10 list needs to be in continual rotation.
Yeah,
absolutely.
Yeah.
Yep.
As we grow and evolve as.
That's right.
As people, yes.
All right, what are we on? Number 6.
Number 6.
Right, number 6. I have put this. I think we did a something on a list with you guys at one point, and then when we had you guys on for our 100th episode, I had it somewhere, I'm sure. But the like front entry loop when you are walking up to go through like security and through the ticket area at Hollywood Studios, where it's playing Disney's similar, like the idea of Mount Pack, where it's playing Disney songs as like, swing, like 20s 30s style, jazzy. Freaking love that. That is just the best, like seamless, combination of everything to welcome you into Hollywood Studios. And I mean, not to get on like a soapbox, but Hollywood Studios has gotten like so far away from just like movies, and it's so like IP driven, but that's it really brings you into the whole park, and you get that like real excitement. So I absolutely love it.
I love it. Love it. I would not have thought of that, so that's a good call.
That's a good one.
Good call. Jen, 6 for you.
I'm not sure if this one's allowed, but I'm saying it anyway.
It's your list.
And so, and this one doesn't have words, but I'm still calling it my jam because I will put this on in my car. I will open the sunroof on a sunny day when we actually get one in Pittsburgh, and I will listen to it. And I'm just like happy driving, like,
Yep.
And I love that. I have that entire freaking loop memorized.
Yes, Jen.
And like 1,000, like that would almost be my number 1 of all time for absolutely anything. But because it doesn't have words, I put it like at number 6. Epcot loop that they got rid of in Future World. I can't talk about it right now because it's too soon and I'm really ticked off. I'm sorry. Imagine Bob, fix it, bring it back now. It's good.
Is it gone in Future World, or is it still part? Is it gone altogether?
It's gone altogether.
Well,
yeah.
I did not hear it
from what
last
I understand,
time.
it's gone altogether.
I think
so
it's gone
could be wrong,
unless they like
Oh.
incorporated it into a longer loop, and I just haven't
Somewhere.
spent as much time.
Yeah.
I'm so sad because I loved like
They
that
should
was
play
my
it in
loop.
like the creation shop or something.
Yes,
like,
that would be fine.
somewhere, because I have strong feelings about it as well that we may talk about
Like
in a
I
few
just
minutes.
I'm like
I love it.
I love it so much.
Well,
I'm sad.
I think
when it comes
across
to
the
podcasts-
board. Sorry, go ahead, David.
Yeah.
I was gonna
No.
say when it comes to podcasts, like I would not go back and listen to the podcast that I just recorded unless I was editing, which I have to do. I'm not sure that Jen goes back and listens. I don't know that Susie goes back and listens every single time to a
I
show,
don't listen to my
which is
stuff.
okay. Because I don't know, Jen, do you realize we play that music at the end of a lot of our shows?
Yes, I
a lot of our
know, but
episodes.
I actually do listen.
Okay, well, to make sure you knew that you can hear that.
I don't listen to my show.
I mean, I can also play it on my iPhone whenever I want, but the issue is
Right.
when I'm in the parks, that
I
was
know.
part
That's
of
what
the
you want.
experience.
That's
Yep.
where
Like-
you want.
Rob, you were going to say, I'm sorry, before Jen cut you
just
off.
I think Epcot is, Disney set a standard with the Magic Kingdom, both Disneyland and Magic Kingdom at Walt Disney World. They set a standard of like, we're going to use music to set this tone, but I think that Epcot perfected it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
As you're walking
I
from
agree.
land to land, country to country, I think it's absolutely it helps you get to the place that you need to be
100%.
emotionally. Just the mood that they want you to be in whenever you go into those places. I think it's 100%.
Absolutely
Perfected.
perfect. Absolutely
Good
perfect. Mhm.
Good times. All right, number 6 for you, Rob.
Oh, well, since people are talking entire loops of lands and parks and things, I think I should be allowed to break the rules as well and say anything that is anything from the Disney afternoon of the 1990s, any of those songs. And if I could just do a
Solid.
quick
Mhm.
little plug.
Please.
Allow it.
My wife sings, in addition to singing with Voices of Liberty over there at Epcot, she also sings in a group called Voctave.
Mhm.
It's like octave, but with a V.
Ooh.
And they, on their latest Corner of Broadway and Main Street, Volume 2, they did a 90s Disney medley, which is all of the Disney afternoon tunes. And you can see it. They also made a video and put it on YouTube. You can see it there, but it's also available for purchase.
Matt sent me that. I've been.
Oh my God.
Their
So
stuff
good.
is amazing. It's
Oh yeah, but it's
amazing.
like, again, talk about like your head just boom 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 boom
Awesome.
boom 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 boom. Spin it. So good.
I love it. In the show notes, we will definitely put a link to that so people can go link
Yes.
and listen to that or whatever. Actually,
You
I
can
think I'll
download
just
that.
I'll make Voctave my 6A whenever I do
Okay.
6. That's my
There
6A.
you go.
My 6B is just it's a Sherman Brothers tune that it's universal. People love this song, but I can't get enough of it, and that is Grim Grinning Ghosts.
Oh, so good.
It's just such a good song. Like all of it, it sets the scene. That it goes so well with that whole graveyard scene at the Haunted Mansion. Getting stuck, and I've had this happen a couple of times. I've actually gotten stuck in front of the bus a few times. I've had the bus sing for like 2 minutes right there, like head on. They're just singing to me. It's so great. If you're gonna get stuck anywhere, get stuck right there.
Correct.
But there's just so many things to see in the graveyard scene. Like every time I look around, I'm seeing something I've never seen before. I'm like, I didn't see that. I never saw that. Look at that hand coming up there. Whatever. There's a couple of hidden Mickeys in there, and then just having
good
that
ones.
music around you just builds, and it's just such a cool song. So yeah, Grim Grinning Ghosts, my number 6 Disney jam.
So good.
Susie, we're halfway through this list. Number 5 for you.
Number 5. It's been a hot second since we've been to a Disney movie. So mine's from a Disney movie. Be Our Guest from Beauty and the Beast. I just think it is so silly. There's so many, I mean, obviously visually too, which is exactly what we're talking about tonight, but everything going along with it.
Right.
And it just sets the tone, and we're going to get the rest of this list starts to get like a little more, at least for me, like more like emotional connections to things.
Yeah.
My dad thought the line, "Try the gray stuff, it's delicious. Don't believe me, ask the dishes," was just the funniest thing ever. He would always like hold up his dishes when we would eat at Be Our Guest and make jokes about it. So I don't know why that stuck out to him.
Dad
which
joke.
It's
Love it.
It's already like my favorite Disney movie. So
Love it.
all of that for Be Our Guest.
Good times. Number 6
it.
for you, Jen.
Uh,
Number 5. Number 5.
I was going to say number 5, right?
Five,
Hang
yeah,
on.
5.
Yeah, so number 5 we actually mentioned already, which I figured it would get mentioned. But Friend Like Me, I love Friend Like Me from Aladdin. The whole thing. My sister and I, that was one of the shows we could agree on growing up. There were a few. Mary Poppins was one we could agree to watch. Aladdin was one. There's another one further down my list that we could also agree on to watch. So it's just like good times. And we loved that song. And Robin, I'm sorry, like R.I.P. Robin Williams, literally cried when I found out he died. And he was such a big part of my childhood. So he was brilliant in that
500 and something episodes. It's the only time we've ever done an episode based on somebody passing away. We did a Robin Williams episode right after he passed. The only time we've ever done that because we hold his in such regard of how
absolutely
amazing
he was so great.
Number 5 on your list, Rob.
Well, let's see. Number 5 for me is from Finding Nemo, the musical at Disney's Animal Kingdom. It is Go With the Flow.
Go With the Flow.
Oh, good song.
Yeah, and it's if you were to break the show up as a classic musical, Go With the Flow would be the Act 2 opener.
Yes.
It's the come on back from intermission. Let's get let's get your energy back up. We're gonna bring everybody back in. But it's just such a fun tune, and those guys who sing those notes, full voice C, up there in the rafters every single time. It doesn't matter if it's 10 in the morning, doesn't matter if it is 9 o'clock at night. They are good to go, ready to go to sing those notes, and
it's seriously impressive.
Yeah. And, again, just from my personal experience, I did have the amazing opportunity and just great experience of playing Marlin in that show. And so I was up on the turtle and those guys would be behind me just belting out that music. And I was like, I have a job that I need to do right here. I'm so enjoying what's happening behind me, but I need to pay attention. There's a job that I have to do here. So great. So fun.
That's awesome. Number 5 for me, and this is one of those times where I know people got tired of the song. They heard it over and over and over. They got tired of it, and they were like, oh my gosh, I hear the song so much. I never got tired of it. I never did. And the fact that you can hear it in Hollywood Studios in the sing-along, you can hear it in Maelstrom, R.I.P., now Frozen, and you can hear it in the movie or just pretty much on the radio. Idina Menzel singing Let It Go. That song is so freaking good. It is such a good song.
I'm sorry, you mispronounced her name. It's Adele Dazeem.
I don't know. Everybody knows
that. Her too. I mean, like, honestly, though, nobody knew what a frozen fractal was until she sang it. And everybody's like, oh, that's a new word for us.
Oh, and turns out they're all around.
There you go. And like, it's just such a good song. Like, the lyrics don't even really make that much sense. And the whole concept of the scene doesn't make so much. She's like building an ice castle. There's no furniture. There's no entertainment. There's no bathroom. It's just an ice castle.
This just occurred to me.
But it works.
It occurred to me that my song, my number 5 and your number 5 are the same composers. Bobby and Kristen Lopez.
Oh, you're right.
Did the music for Finding Nemo the musical. They also wrote the music for Frozen.
I don't think I knew they wrote Finding Nemo the musical.
I knew that because I listened last time he was on the show, Jen. So yeah, he talked about it. Love you, Jen. Let It Go is my number 5 because it's just it's a great song. It's an incredible song. So that's 5 fantastic. On my list. 4 for you, Susie.
Oh my gosh.
4 on my list is where I have that future world loop that Jen mentioned just a little bit ago. I could just picture my whole family walking in the sun, going to wherever. I feel like when I hear it in my mind, like my whole body just reacts to it. Like I am physically somewhere else. That's all I can say about it. I just absolutely love it. It'll get stuck in my head sometime. I don't care. I love that one.
Do you think there's something to the fact that, because that is also once we get outside of the whatever the music was for Illuminations or what is happening around Epcot, not Epcot Forever. That was
Harmonious.
Yeah.
Harmonious, yeah.
Once we get past that loop, then it goes back to the regular day loop. As you're walking out, do you think that there's some nostalgia as you're leaving the park and you hear that same music as you were walking in? Do you think there's something to that?
Probably. There's got to be some kind of psychological
arriving and leaving.
That. Yeah. And then it just like is like stamping, closing something up, and it's like all of this together that you had is associated with this, and then it files it away in your brain for whatever's next.
I agree.
Oh man, I miss those days at Epcot.
I'm just waiting for Susie to cry because it'll happen soon. We got 3 more.
Next one.
All right, Jen, what's your number 4?
Like, and this gets hard because so many of these I could just interchange at any given time. So just full disclosure. But number 4, I'm going to go with Under the Sea because if I'm listening, if I'm like on the attraction, and I can still do the whole little, it's not a rap, but it's kind of a rap in the middle. The whole thing. Yeah, love the whole thing. It just makes me dance. I love it.
The Duke of Soul. Yeah. I love it. Love that. Rob, number 4 for you.
Jumping over to the other coast, and again talking about kind of that send off, the kiss goodnight, and just that sense of like, oh my goodness, this was just the best day ever. Disneyland had the Paint the Night parade.
Oh yes.
And they had the song "When Can We Do This Again?"
Yes.
And it absolutely, when as these, it's the end of the day, it's the end of the night, you've had this amazing day, and these incredible light up floats are going by, and this is Main Street Electrical on steroids. It is out of control.
Oh, it's so amazing.
It's incredible. And they're playing this music, When Can We Do This Again? And I remember kind of my eyes kind of welling up and going, I have to go home tomorrow, but I want to come back here. When can we do this again? And I love Walt Disney World, but as we said earlier, there's just a different energy at Disneyland. And I just want to get there, stay there, be there, of just that warmth of being in that presence of where Walt was. And so, the whole idea of When Can We Do This Again? And that song and the way that it's presented, absolutely.
It's such a great parade.
It had its effect on me, had the desired effect.
Here's my proposal. Disneyland got Main Street Electrical again. Give us Paint the Night. You're not using it. I'm just
take it.
Give us something.
As soon as
anything. Not a good evening entertainment at Magic Kingdom right now. I do not
give us the Jingle Jungle Parade at Magic Kingdom. Why not?
That's fine. We'll accept it. Could we have a nighttime parade? Any nighttime parade.
Who decided to get rid of Spectro Magic? Who decided to destroy the floats?
Listen. I need to have a word with that person.
30 years in a warehouse. Spectro
why did they destroy it? Listen, that Chernobog float was terrifying and also amazing. Let's
my favorite parade, Spectro Magic. Love
I don't know. I need to have words with somebody over that.
Rob knows people. Let's call Rob.
We'll call the Rob.
Once again, I do not get invited to those meetings.
This is why. He calls too many people. Number 4 on my list, and this is just, I actually did not even have this on the list until Susie said something earlier about one of the nighttime shows, and I was like, why don't I have Happily Ever After on my top 10 list? And now I do at number 4. The pop version by Jordan Fisher and Angie Kielhauer.
So good.
It's on YouTube, and I've probably listened to that YouTube video probably 50 times. I came in one day, like my wife and I were listening to it, and I was like, have you heard this? Blah, 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 whatever. She's like, I love this song. I went to lunch. I came back, and she was listening to it on YouTube while she was working, like blasting off her computer. This is during COVID when we're all at home working from our tables. And so she was like, this song makes me happy. I've listened to it like 5 times in a row. And just it's so good. And it's a wonderful song. It's a wonderful song. And I miss that song. I miss hearing it. I miss having it in the parks. So that's my number 4 is Happily Ever After by Jordan and Angie from the old school Happily Ever After Fireworks Spectacular. Susie, number 3. We're to the top 3 now.
All right, number 3. I think anyone who knows, like, this is the thing, like, if you know how good this song is. Disney just did not market it, in my opinion, in the way that they should have. Show Yourself from Frozen 2 is, in my opinion, outside of Lost in the Woods, because that's hilarious. But I think Show Yourself is the best song from both Frozen films. I think the message, the way that it wraps up the story in so many different ways, when they had that like making of Frozen 2 on Disney Plus, it really shows how much story and song combined really make a movie, because they didn't have the ending for Frozen 2 figured out yet. They weren't really sure what was going to happen when Elsa got out there, and with the song and everything, it just puts it together. And then obviously, like, the vocals are amazing. This song gives me goosebumps. In the theater, I was crying. I was like, show yourself. It's
okay, I will.
Just make it stop. It's too good. But really, like, to me, that's the more like marquee song. And I know Into the Unknown is more of the like I want song from the movie, so it makes a little bit more sense that was the one that was like everywhere. But Show Yourself is just like the climax of Elsa's story, in my opinion. So that song is just very powerful. and I can't sing, but like, I hope people can't hear you from another car over driving down the road, because I definitely embarrassed myself on many occasions. I don't care. It's a good one.
Jen, your number 3 Disney jam.
Oh gosh. Okay, so if we're talking about like head bopping music, always has been Hakuna Matata. Lion King classic. Right? It means no worries for the rest of your days. Another one my sister and I could agree on. Again, we didn't fight over watching Lion King, so we could watch Lion King all the time as children. And she loved it even more than me. But I don't know. When I was a young warthog,
it's hilarious.
Yes, it's so funny. I love it.
It was one of the first open references to farting, I think, in a Disney.
No,
Disney movie.
They didn't say it.
They didn't say it. They didn't say it. He tried to.
Every time,
he was like, after the kids.
Yeah. I love a good fourth wall break. Who doesn't?
And also, Jen, this is a good phrase for you for this week. You've had a crazy week or so this past week, so Hakuna Matata. It's a wonderful phrase.
Hakuna Matata. It's fine.
Rob, top 3, number 3 on your list.
This is my first repeat of the night, and this is also Under the Sea. I love Under the Sea. Holds a special place in my heart because Voyage of the Little Mermaid was one of the first shows that I got to do, and I played the role of Sebastian. So yeah, you were talking about the rap section.
Nice.
There. And yeah, it's like there's a lot that Sebastian does for that, but also just to tag on, the Main Street Philharmonic does an amazing version of Under the Sea.
They're fantastic.
They are fantastic. They do just such a great version of that. And so yeah, whenever the Dapper Dans are leaving and Main Street Phil is coming out, sometimes I'll stick around just a little bit and listen to a couple of their tunes.
I admit to like watching the different instrumentalists, and I'm like, dude, like that was like spot on. It was so good. They're like so good.
So I'm going to go all the way back to the late 90s, actually 97,
Wow.
98, somewhere in there. When my first stint at the Disney store, and this was really my first experience with a lot of Disney music outside of Be Our Guest and Aladdin and the Renaissance, which I had the VHS tapes for. And Hercules had just come out, or was coming out, so we were actually going to the premiere in Montgomery, Alabama, in the Eastdale Mall, and Zero to Hero was there.
Yeah.
I love this song. And I think it's not just the song itself, it's the whole setting of Hercules, because Hercules is such a dated movie. I'm a fan of the 90s. I love the 90s.
So good.
And there's so many Easter eggs in this that's just a callback to the 90s. Everything from the Nikes to the let's call the XII, whatever that thing is. I mean, like all these references to the 90s and stuff. But this song is so good. The visuals with it and everything, and the perfect text, and just the Hercules. Like, I love this song altogether. It's got, obviously it's soulful and it's fun and it's loud, and just who put the gladiator Hercules, and it's great. I love this song. So this is my number 3 Disney jam, and this actually was my number 1 for a little while until I started putting my list together, because this is what I thought of when I'm like, we're gonna do Disney jams and I'm gonna talk about Zero to Hero. I'm excited. Let's do it. So Zero to Hero, number 3. Susie, number 2 for you.
Honestly, like any other given day, half of this list would have been Hercules. That entire soundtrack is amazing. I would love to have been in the room when they were like, okay, guys, so we need to like pitch like our ideas for this ancient Greek movie, gospel music. Like that is just
how do you tell them what the Grecian urn?
So well. Oh, it's so good. Okay, well, I mean, I'm gonna be honest, my last 2 aren't like really like head boppers, but to me, I think they are iconic and I just love them. And I know we talked about like doing our Disney love songs on different episodes. I don't care. Can You Feel the Love Tonight is just so good. The movie version, the Elton John version,
yes,
both of them. I just absolutely, I think it's the best Disney love song. And it's from my favorite movie, Lion King.
It's a feel-good music.
It is. I used to make my brother like play Lion King with me and like throw him off the couch because he would be Scar and like stuff like that. My mom's not listening.
You be Scar if you're throwing somebody off a couch?
Oh, that's it. Whatever. No, he lost. No, from the end, I was Simba. Like, oh, he died. Like, sorry, again, my mom doesn't listen to my show. I don't think she's listening to you guys, but I hope my mom doesn't know that.
Supporter.
Sorry, brother. But yeah, I just absolutely love Lion King. And again, any given day, half this list could have been Lion King movies, but Can You Feel the Love Tonight made the cut.
Good call. Jenn, number 2.
Oh my gosh. So I am actually shocked that I have such a new movie on this list, but I really love How Far I'll Go from Moana. It is
very good.
That soundtrack is amazing. And I don't know that I've loved a soundtrack that much since the Golden Age. Like I had memorized every single, like Little Mermaid, Beauty and the Beast, Aladdin, Lion King. I could go through every single one, even up to and including Pocahontas, because I thought that was a great soundtrack as well. Oh my gosh. I don't know. I love the entire soundtrack from Moana, and I'm not sorry. That's all.
You shouldn't be sorry. I love it.
It's so good.
So, and Heather, a quasi-producer Heather, will also be happy that I shouted that out. But like legit, it deserves a spot in the top 10. So it's fine. I just feel like
Rob.
inspired.
Number 3 for you.
Well, David, you mentioned this, but it hasn't so far been on anyone's list.
Okay.
But it is absolutely on my list, and it is the Spectro Magic theme. Again, just talk about the feel-good music, and it made me, when I first visited Walt Disney World, Spectro Magic was when I first visited, and I could really remember what was happening. Right. Spectro Magic was the nighttime parade, and it absolutely left me just the driving melody of that, even though it doesn't have like a heavy strong beat, but it's just the orchestral nature of it and the way that it just pushes, and the melody, it absolutely made me homesick to want to come back to the parks. Not unlike When Can We Do This Again?
Right.
It was that exact same feeling of going, oh, I don't want this day to ever end. I want this to keep on going. And just watching, I remember following the parade and watching Jiminy Cricket, who's on the back, and he's saying goodbye to everybody. Come see us again. Thank you so much for coming. This was great. This was so much fun. He was saying goodbye to everybody as the float left. And I was like, goodbye, Jiminy. Love you, pal. This is great. Thanks so much for doing this.
That's awesome. My number 2 will come as no surprise to anybody, especially when I start out with, hey, Mr. Grumpy Gills, life's full of little spills. Don't throw your fins up in disgust. What's the use of floating there, not going anywhere? Swish your tail and dive on in, and trust that if you just keep swimming. I love
so cute.
Finding Nemo the musical, and I don't know what it's going to look like when it comes back. Rob, you probably know because they told you everything.
I have some inklings. I have,
but I'm hoping
stories.
this song is in there, and I'm hoping it's kind of the same pattern. I love this song. I have the soundtrack. This is the reason I downloaded this entire soundtrack, just for that.
I will be sad if that song is
it's a jam for me. I love Dory singing all the way through it. This fish is built for speed, and the whole jellyfish scene, whatever, it leads to that. Just it's so much fun, and it's inspiring, and it's the lyrics themselves are just like, it is like, let's keep going. You got to keep moving. I know it sucks, but hey, let's go. Come on.
I have sung that so many times. Like, I was like,
great. It's great. And so, yeah, Finding Nemo the musical, Just Keep Swimming is my number 2 Disney jam, leaving one spot left. Susie, number 1 on your list. What's your favorite, which means everything else you don't like?
Oh, no. Well, this is, again, not a super jam. I'm really not like, I guess every time we do these lists, I contradict myself. I'm really not like an emotional person. That is out the window when these lists come out, because like nostalgia just rules the roost. But I think this is just the most like everything that Disney embodies is the song, and then historically it has a lot of significance. It's Feed the Birds from Mary Poppins, and it's not a bop, it's not a jam, but it is so beautiful, it is so wholesome. The whole meaning of that movie is wrapped up in that song. And then if you watch, of course, like Saving Mr. Banks, then you cry all over again when you just see the whole significance of everything hinges on
that soundtrack also
of the bird woman and everything that that song represents. And I just absolutely, and Walt loved it. I'm gonna cry, and I've never met Walt Disney or
oh my gosh
my brothers, but he would just come play the song, and they knew, and it just meant so much. And Richard talks about like they used to let him into the office after Walt died, and he would play the piano. It's just such an important song. I had to put it where I feel like it deserved.
I think in terms of the and for all of our lists are valid, but at the same time, in terms of the importance of the entire musically, the whole company resting on a song, I think Feed the Birds is the one that everything changed from that point forward. Again, talking about like Epcot perfected the music loops. I think we had already set a standard of musicals, and we're going to have music in our movies, but I think it was perfected in Mary Poppins and absolutely perfected with Feed the Birds.
100%.
Susie, if you're going to go rogue, at least make it justified. You did good. So
that's good.
Thank you.
You could have Feed the Birds on there, and I restricted it, but whatever you need to do. So number 1 on your list.
Oh, okay. So this is hard. I appreciate Susie's Feed the Birds because, as I mentioned, I love that song. Mine is a little bit breaking the rules too, but to me, a jam is anything I'm going to sing along with. Like if I'm singing along, this is valid, and it doesn't matter what sort of a song it is. I don't have to copy in my head. Like I can justify a lot that way.
So what Celine Dion song did you pick?
All of them, honestly. No, When You Wish Upon a Star. And there is just something about, but like, of course, the original version, I don't know. And that was also my grandmother's favorite. I had that as my ringtone for a long time. And she would say, she's like, I love calling you because I just love his voice. And he was always my favorite, and so my grandma Betty, she always said that. And I love the story behind it. And like, not that Pinocchio is my favorite movie because it's not. Listen, respect to Pinocchio. It's a good film, whatever. But I just love that song, and I think it's beautiful, and I love it in its original rendition. And I've heard all sorts of beautiful renditions of it, but I like stop and I sort of like tear up every time I hear it. So that's kind of got to have honorable mention. I feel like that's an important part of the company. So
you do that song and Feed the Birds back to back, and you're kind of a blubbery mess.
Like I'm done.
You and Susie are consoling each other.
I'm wrecked. That's fine.
All right, Rob, number 1 on your list.
Number 1, again, if you know me, then this should be no surprise to you. But of course, this was not difficult for me to narrow down for this list of number 1 for me. And it is a song that I've been singing along with for a bunch of years. It's a song that absolutely is feel-good music for me. And I hope it's feel-good music for you too. And it's coming back on June 23rd. And it is the opening number to the Hoop-Dee-Doo Review. Yeah! Let's Raise the Roof. Let's raise the roof inside the Hoop-Dee-Doo.
Oh my gosh.
And I know that there's a lot of people who love the old theme, the Hoop-Dee-Doo polka, and I love that one too. We got in a little bit of trouble when it was discovered that we hadn't paid for that, so we wrote our own song, did our own thing. and so the new song is fantastic, and I love it, and it automatic. I mean, it just sets the tone for the night.
I love it.
So great.
Even if I'm, there are these days when you come into work, and this is true for everybody, you go in, even if you work at the most magical place on earth, you go in and there's times when you're just not feeling it. There's times when you're just kind of like, okay, this is work today. We got to get up. Let's make the donuts. But as soon as that theme kicks in, as soon as the piano player, the banjo player start playing that song, and we kick into that choreography and start singing along, by the end of that 4 minutes of singing that song, I'm good to go to do the rest of the night. And so, yeah.
Love that.
That's awesome.
I love it. Raise the Roof.
So my number 1, and this is not even my favorite Disney song necessarily, but whenever I looked at Disney jams, I had to put this number 1 because when I talked about Aladdin, college, how important it was for college, and Hercules, the Disney store, my first stint, my first real foray into Disney music, my first real foray into Disney movies altogether. I mean, when I was a kid, I liked Robin Hood and stuff, but I didn't have access to these movies until the VHS came out and I was able to buy this stuff. Beauty and the Beast was released, and I spent my $30 down the local store to buy Beauty and the Beast, and Be Our Guest was probably my first official favorite Disney song. Like, I popped that tape in, had not seen this at the movies. This was like 1991. I was maybe a sophomore in high school, in my room because I didn't get invited to parties in high school. So I watched it on the weekend, popped the tape in, not really knowing a lot about what the movie was even about. I mean, I knew the story, but I didn't know what I was going to watch, and was just like, this movie is awesome. I mean, just like blown away because I didn't know what to expect. I had I'd sort of kind of seen some of The Little Mermaid, whatever, but this was my first exposure to a Disney classic, and what a great one to start it off with, right?
Good.
And so Be Our Guest, that whole scene, I remember rewinding it and watching that whole scene again with just
rewinding
with all of it. Rewinding, that's right.
Be
Susie,
kind.
Rewinding is when you put a tape in and you push the little
David,
arrows.
I'm almost 30. I know things.
VHS means that was, for me, that was my first official favorite Disney song, and I had to put that number one here because it's probably the most important Disney jam to me because it was the first one. It was the one that was like, Disney music is pretty cool. This is awesome. So yeah, like all of it. So Be Our Guest was number one. Susie, do you have any that didn't quite make your top 10? Anything you kind of peeled off or left off there?
Gosh.
Any honorable mentions?
Yes. Friend Like Me. I had Go the Distance at one point on my list.
It's a good one.
I also had Zero to Hero at one point. I should have had Camp Rock. I feel bad about
Loser.
leaving my Joe Bros off.
Yep.
But yeah, there's so many. Again, it just depends on like what kind of mood do you want to get like transported to.
Right.
Because that's what Disney music does.
Jenna, what about you? Is there any on your list that you weren't able to quite get to?
I do have 3 actually. The Tomorrowland music loop is another one that I will also jam out to because I'm a nerd, and that's okay. I'm cool with it. Like, I'm down. The loop from the current, I actually prefer the one that was before this, but on Walt Disney World today in the resorts, the one that has like the park hours, I love that music loop. I loved the one before this one just a little bit more, but it's okay. I can find it on YouTube and I recorded it onto my phone. So it's fine. I can also play that. We're good. And then I didn't know if this one counted, but Rainbow Connection. Because Muppets is Disney and Rainbow Connection is a freaking amazing song.
Yep.
Yes.
Like, that could have been my number one, but I wasn't sure if it counted because it was Muppets. So,
Jen, have you seen Prop Culture? Did you ever end up watching that?
Yes, I have. I haven't watched all of them, but I've watched Prop Culture.
Have you seen the one with the Muppets? Have you seen the Muppet?
Yes, because I love the Muppets.
When they reunited Paul Williams with his banjo for singing Rainbow Connection, like that, I cried. I literally had tears. It was amazing.
It's so good. So good.
Rob, any honorable mentions on your list that you?
Honorable mentions. Just Can't Wait to Be King. Is an honorable mention. And the anything from Bear in the Big Blue House.
Oh my gosh!
Oh my gosh!
Now you're talking Susie's language. This was like 10 years ago for her.
Yeah, any of that. Those are kind of the go-to. But the other one that was on my list, and I'm I'm not trying to be kind of obscure for obscure's sake, but it represents such a happy time in my life, and it represents so much happiness to so many people. And it's the opening song from Candlelight Processional, Shout for Joy.
Oh,
nice.
So good.
With the herald trumpets and,
yes.
And it's only like a minute long, but again, it just sets the tone for everything that's about to come after that. And
it's that whole Epcot perfection thing again.
Yes.
Epcot's perfect, basically.
I got a couple here. Grazing in the Grass, which is a Raven Simone song from Lion King 1.5. It's a remake of the Fifth Dimension song, but it's so different. It's very upbeat and poppy and soul, and just she's so good. And this goes back to the whole
Raven
making the disc songs and stuff. It really was exactly her. Under the Sea, I had on my list the theme song to the kids show Goldie and Bear, which with a small child investing in Disney television shows. I like that song. It's just fun. And there's 2 kind of obscure little tunes that I wish I had more of. Back when Stacy was doing the Must Do Disney, as the show was coming off or coming on, you heard that song, Living It Up, You Get That Feeling. That's great.
Oh my
gosh.
That's a great
now
song.
You're all hearing it right now. And then finally, when Cirque du Soleil was doing their thing at Disney Springs, downtown Disney, whatever we called it at that point, they had this ad that would come on television in between the shows and stuff on the Disney channels. And they had they would show that they had music and everything from it, and they had the music from the Wall Walkers. The love that music. I went on and I found that on YouTube, and I downloaded that to my computer so I could hear that music when I wanted to. Love that.
Was that
I don't know
Lanuba?
why.
That's fair.
Lanuba, yeah.
It was Lanuba, yeah.
Okay, because
Lanuba.
we
It
played
was-
that in band in high
my
school.
gosh.
That was
You played Lanuba band?
We did a Cirque du Soleil marching show.
Whoa,
Jealous.
whoa. I got a terrible voice.
You
I can't even
know.
do it justice. But yeah, good song. So this has been a great episode. This
This
has
is
been
fun.
so much fun. Susie, tell us where the people out there can find you. Where's the podcast? When's the podcast coming out? Blah, 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 blah.
Yeah, oh, that's why I wish Matt was here. I'm just kidding. I know a few things. We are on Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, the ImagineEars or ImagineEars podcast, and then you can also find our show on what's it called? Spotify,
iHeartRadio, Stitcher, Apple
all
Music,
the Stitchers.
Amazon Music.
Who
Yep.
listens to Stitcher, by the way? I've always been like, what is Stitcher?
I mean, like,
I know, but
don't you
every
listen
week-
on Apple? I
So
don't
we're
know.
on
But when-
Stitcher.
When that feed breaks, when that feed breaks, you
I
find
know
out
our
exactly who
our
this-
four
I
Stitcher
mean-
listeners are gonna be so
You know,
depressed.
if you go to your stats in the system, you'll find out those
Yeah.
4 people in Finland listen to your show in Stitcher, and you're like, yeah, Finland.
But we do a live show every Tuesday night at 8:00 Eastern time on Facebook and YouTube. That's always fun. And then Matt, of course, uploads all the audio because he's the tech guy. I just
Yep.
give hot takes later in the week. But yeah, we've been doing our show. This week marks 4 years, and we just
Congratulations
talked.
on that, by the way.
Yeah.
Thank you. I know it's been. I mean, Matt became a father. Like Evie isn't like all of this like happened while we were like how much our life, like I bought a house, like life just has changed so much in the last couple of years, so it's been fun. Yeah, we do that every week and would love to see you guys. So I know a couple of our listeners have migrated over to you guys' show too, like they've messaged us. And
Yeah, I jump in your
we
Discord
listen to
sometimes.
Dave.
And they'll message us too sometimes, which is fun.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah, it's such a fun community, and that's the spiel.
Love it. Rob, where can we find you? I know Hoop is coming up, but until then, where can people find you online, follow you,
Yeah,
Voctive, and all that good stuff?
Yeah, I have a handful of podcasts that I'm associated with. I do a podcast with my sister called Let's Talk Soon. And on that podcast, we talk about the things that we are reading about, writing about, thinking about, and speaking up about. And I also have a podcast called the Leading Creative Podcast, and it is leadership for creatives and creativity for leaders. And then I also co-host a show called the Dime Podcast, Business Simplified. And for all you business people out there, just kind of simplifies all of the ins and outs of how business works, of the the hiring and the firing and the books and all the all that boring stuff. We make it interesting, we make it easy. And then I produce a show called the Theme Park Auditions Podcast, and it's specifically talking with casting directors of the theme park world and giving tips and tricks for any upcoming person who might want to get involved in the entertainment industry, specifically theme parks, and kind of some of the tips and tricks for auditioning. And so that's those 4 podcasts.
awesome.
Let's Talk Soon, Leading Creative Podcast, the Dime Podcast, and the Theme Park Auditions Podcast, as well as for me, I am at Rob A. Lott, 1B and 2 T's on Twitter and Instagram. And then coaching, consulting, and creative development. I started a company called Blue Trumpet Creative.
Yes.
And so, so coaching is kind of one-on-one again of kind of the leadership for creatives and creativity for leaders. And then consulting is kind of bringing the principles of the theatrical world into the corporate world and bringing the principles of corporate world into the creative theatrical world.
I love it so much
that.
because there's so much
Yeah.
overlap that people don't realize. That's amazing. I think
Yeah. So that's what that does. And then the for me, the creative development piece arm of the company is just whatever I want to do. We produced a marriage proposal last summer. A guy called me up and he goes, "Hey, there's this girl and I really, really like her. And I want to ask her this really important question. And she's so smart and she's so funny and she's so talented. And I'm none of those things. Can you help me come up with a way to ask her this question in a way that is worthy of her?" And so absolutely, we put all that together. And that's on YouTube. Maybe I'll send you a link, David, and you can
Do that. I'll post that on the
yeah,
show notes
it's
as well.
super feel good. It's a good time.
I feel like
But
you
yeah.
need some hobbies in your spare time. Because,
Well, I'll
What do
tell
you do
know,
all day?
when the world shut down, I just put out into the world, "Hey, what are you working on? How can I help?" And people had some stuff, and so
very good. I
I'm
love it.
tagging along and
awesome.
helping.
Well,
So
Susie,
thanks for
Rob,
having me on.
we are going to let you guys go. Thank you so much for joining us, Rob. Last minute, Susie. I know we planned this over a couple weeks or whatever, and so I'm glad you guys could join us. Matt, if you're listening out there, hope everything is better with the family and everything is good. He had a family emergency, so we had to step away. But Rob, Susie, thank you so much.
Thank you.
We're gonna cut you.
Thanks, guys.
Okay. Have fun, everybody.
Bye, guys. Bye. So, Jen, that was fantastic. That was amazing.
Was so good.
We got to episode 100, which is pretty crazy that we started the show in the middle of a pandemic when both parks were closed. And I was like, Jenny, want to do a podcast? And she was like, okay. So I got nothing else to do. All right. But she did. But, she said, let's do a podcast. So real quick, we wanted to say thank you to all the listeners out there. We're watching the show grow. It started from nothing and actually has built over time to actually a pretty good little show, which we're really excited about. We've had a lot of great guests on. A lot of people have come on our show and graciously given up their time and such. And Jen, of course, you are super duper busy, but you're always here with me doing this podcast. So I am.
And it's a pleasure, honestly.
It's wonderful. Honestly, folks, I've got the best podcast hosts in the world. Susie, are you still listening? Please don't. No, Jen is amazing. She's fantastic and full of ideas and just creative and everything. So love having the show. Love having the show with you, Jen. Jen, where can people find you online when they want to search you up?
Well, you can find me at Upon a Star Jen. My personal Instagram is at Jen_Novotny.
Nice. Find me online at The Magic on $8 on Instagram. Find me at Magic on $8 and Disney on $8 on Facebook. And of course, you can find this show at The MSE Podcast at Gmail. That's our website. Go to the show notes. You'll see all the fun stuff there. See, TheMSEPodcast.com. That is our website. That's where all the show notes will be. The MSE podcast at gmail.com. That's our email address. It's late. You know where to find us. Katrina gives you all the end at the very end. So for 100 shows, and we're going to go back with 101 next week. And so we'll start a fresh new century of shows. So thank you guys so much out there. Thank you to Susie, to Rob, to Jen. And hey, don't forget, thank you to all those Phoenicians out there.
Thank you for listening to the Main Street Electrical Podcast. You can find us on Instagram, Twitter, and Facebook at the MSE Podcast, or visit our website at themsepodcast.com. Be sure to subscribe, and may all your wishes come true.